Yeah, and welcome to Papastache 102. So what on earth was that? That was Pentatonics and Chromatic Madness. And to help you get started on your soloing journey or get you out of a rut in your present soloing journey, click that link below and that will give you an insight into chords and scales and target notes over a 1-4-5 progression, but you'll see where this all starts to come from and is derived from, right? You're seeing the chords and the scales and where those chromatic runs all fit and how they work in context of a chord progression. So check that out. As for this one, it's just inside our favorite A minor pentatonic scale, but we're going to use some chromatic notes and some chord tones to just create a crazy riff. So let's zoom in for a closer look and check it out. All right, so before we get into this complete, utter pentatonic scale madness, now it's not really that hard. Just feels fun to make it sound impressive. But let me show you kind of what I'm doing. What I'm deriving this all from is our, handy dandy A minor pentatonic position 1, and I scoot down into A major position 1. Okay, now on top of that, I'm going to throw in the chord tones of an A major chord over that A minor. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to throw a chromatic run, which just means I'm playing the notes right in a row. They don't have to be in a row, but it could be like, let's say within that 5 and 8, between those frets. You could throw them in any way that you wanted to. So, or. Okay, so it's just chromatic, just notes right in a row. So what I'm basically going to do is I start off like I'm in A minor pentatonic. Okay, then the next set, I'm going to go from the minor third to the major third. So we got... Now what I do is I borrow from A major, remember a pentatonic right here, same exact shape as A minor position 1, just down 3 steps. But what I'm going to do is borrow from position 2 of A major. Okay? Now I'm going to come back to the A minor box of position 1. And now I'm going to go chromatically down. Okay? So all together we got... Now from there, I'm going to go back to A major position 2, but I'm going to fill in the dots there too. Okay? Now I'm coming back into A minor. And then I'm going to do the reverse order. Now I'm going to go 7, 5, 6 on the G. So all together we got... Now, once we get to here, I go back 7 to 5, where we started from, in A minor, and then I'm going to go 7, 6, 5, 4. So I filled in the dots of A minor position 1, jumped into A major position 1, down again, pulled off to my root note. So I went 7, 6, 5, 4, slide to 2, pull off, open A, and then I slide back in position 1 of A major now. you know, yes, you could make that a musical run, the very last riff in a song or a progression. We could totally make that work. Or you could just use it as an exploration, not necessarily being the most musical, melodical, thing that you could ever come up with, but just using it as a way to start to see how all these things, chords, minor and major, and chromatics, we're working with four different things, can all live in one happy note land of bliss and tenderness and aggression, because sometimes aggression and mean sounding riffs are where it's at, a la Van Halen and even Brad Paisley and all these guys that start to fuse these scales together. People think of Brad Paisley in country, but man, he's got some terrifying riffs and a definite good resource to where it started to open my mind up on what you could do with pentatonics and different things too. So check out different musical genres, whether it's hard rock guys like Van Halen and Rat and all these guys that are really amazing pentatonic players in a hard rock sense, and then they're really mind-blowing country players like Paisley, Guthrie Trapp, Brent Mason, Scotty Anderson, who's just mind-melting. But you'll start to see all these guys that can do all these phenomenal things. Even guys like Keith Urban. There's so many guys. There's a ton I'm forgetting. I know I am, but all the Nashville session guys, they just do these amazing things with mixing all of those things. Scales, chords, and chromatic runs to really make these cool, awesome riffs. So check it out, explore, don't be afraid, face your fears. It's where the fun is at. Yes! Again, don't forget that riff video down below, the blues soloing exploration tips and techniques. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really called that, but just for fun, I'm just, expanding upon what it could be and what it could mean to you if you just check it out. And as always, big hug. Thank you from me to you for checking in here once again, or if it's your first time, welcome. And if you're digging what you're seeing, share it, post it far and wide to all your friends near and far. That would be awesome. And then over there is Papastache Pop, and that's like another 400 songs that are, everything from pop to country to all sorts of other stuff. So don't be afraid to check that out either. And down below is papastache.com, and that's all how to play guitar from 1 to step 37. So check that out too. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for checking in once again. I'll catch you next time.